Hey everyone, Anthony Scott here at ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we are continuing the look at FanHome's Build Your Own R2-D2 subscription box number 25, which includes issues 95, 96, 97, and 98. Each of these magazines come with parts to continue on with the build. Special shout out and thank you to FanHome for sending this box along for review. That's greatly appreciated. To subscribe and for more information, make sure to click the links off of the YouTube description, as well as the hyperlinks off of ToyHypeUSA.com before you shop. Thank you in advance for doing that. Here's a closer look at the cover for issue 95, as well as the parts we're going to be using for the build. Inside, assembling the dome drive components inside Star Wars, Creature Design, and for Droid Directory, we have R2-D2 Astromech Part 16. First article, Creature Design. A continuation. And R2-D2 Astromech Part 16. A continuation. And for robotics, we have ETH Zurich Robotics Research. Next page. And now for the build for R2-D2, the dome drive components. Here's a look at all the parts right here, or many of them. Oh, yep, that's probably all of them. Came with that spindle too. And here is a closer look at the steps. So take your time, no need to rush. Here's a closer look at assembly. And completed assembly. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm going to assemble this right now, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completed assembly. Both pieces are fully assembled. Here's a look at this. This fits inside, screwed in, and this part here is all together. The screws are right on the back there. Washers and nuts on this side. So there's your look there. And I am now moving on to the next issue. Up next is issue 96, and here's a look at the parts for assembly. Inside, fixing the dome motor. Inside Star Wars, shooting starts on Revenge of the Sith, and for Droid Directory, R2-D2 Astromech Part 17. First article, shooting starts on Revenge of the Sith. And a continuation. R2-D2 Astromech Part 17. And a continuation. And a new article for robotics. And here's a look at the assembly, dome drive motor. Here's a look here. And the steps. This part came with the last issue, so we're going to be using that. Next step. And here's a look at the final steps here, using the part we just assembled. And here is a look at the completed assembly. So this is going to look like when it's all done. I'm going to assemble this right now, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completed assembly. This whole piece is assembled, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I am now moving on to the next issue. Here's a look at issue 97, as well as the parts that are included. Inside, these are the wiring connections. And for Inside Star Wars, moments in the making. Here's a look at the article. And a continuation. And the rest of this focuses on the steps. This is wiring and camera. So this is what you're getting. A lot of steps in this, so really take your time. And the main body. Next part, battery box labels, installing the battery box. Making the connections. A lot of steps in this, so again, really take your time. Make sure to follow along carefully. Pause the video if you need more time to read this. Obviously, you probably do. And installing the cable run. So there's your look at assembly. I'm going to assemble this now. And let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the finished assembly. All the wires are in place as the instructions specified. It's all in there, and the battery pack is on the side. This was a lot of steps, so again, do take your time. There's a look at the battery pack. It's in the center here, and it just loosely fits as you just slide it in. The only thing I didn't do was the final steps here. I didn't bother tying it together. I thought it was a little confusing, so I skipped that, but you can do that. And I am now moving on to the next issue. Here's a look at the final issue in this box, issue number 98, and as well as the parts we're going to be using in this box. Keep in mind, this magazine also features a lot of steps, so this is going to be quite time consuming. Inside, building R2-D2, making connections, and the article, Inside Star Wars, the final confrontation. Article, final fight. A continuation. And now, look at the steps. These are the sensor mounts and brackets. We're going to be using all these parts here and many others. And here's a look at the first of the steps, fitting the camera and lens cover, which was offered in the last bag. Next step, and completed assembly. So this is what it's going to look like. and preparing the cables. We're going to take one side of R2 with the cables. We're going to put the labels on them as we've done in the last issue. And there's a breakdown of where the labels all go. Front panel labels, back panel labels, dome label. And now making the connections. This is the circuit board inside the body. We're going to be adding more wires to it. Fitting the front panel, so that's going to fit in. R2 is finally coming together. A continuation. And fitting the rotary sensor housing. Up next, fitting the dome support, dome motor support. And there's a closer look. And now fitting the dome support. That's all gonna go inside. And completed assembly. So when it's all done, it's gonna look like this. I'm going to work on this right now, and let's take a closer look. Here's a look at the completed assembly. Just like the other magazine, this one had a lot of steps in there. And here's a look, bird's eye view. You're gonna have a finished product like this. Here's a look at the sides. I know it's a little hard to see, I do apologize. And the other side, one half of R2 is on there, so you get half the side. Here's a look at the dome. This piece on top is attached. You're also gonna go ahead and install the camera, which is right here. I failed to properly install the lightsaber holder, or ejector I should say. That's why it's hanging loose like that. Could not figure that out. But here is bird's eye view from inside the dome. So thanks for watching this video. I am Anthony Scott at ToyHypeUSA.com. For more information about FanHome, make sure to click off the links in the YouTube description or the hyperlinks off of ToyHypeUSA.com. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more coverage on reviews.